Alright, let's go back to 2017. A young Nicky G is driving down to the local game store to get the latest pre-constructed commander deck to play with his buddies. Of course, out of the 4 commander decks, I knew the Dragon was the ultimate pre-con, and I called dibs immediately. My buddy KK, he got the cat deck, Bargelicious, he got the vampire deck, and old T-Boy got the wizard deck. And of course I had the Dragon deck. Now we all laughed at old T-Boy, we called him names and generally berated him for having the smallest muscles in his deck. Dude, how are wizards gonna compete with big dragons, dude, and big like CrossFit vampires and stuff like that? But little did we know that wizards have muscles on their brains. So a proud supporter of mine, Tyler of the Better Brotherhood, Knight of the Realm, King of the Fiefdom who wears badges of ultimate valor, presented me with the challenge of building Mairsil the Protector. This guy's an interesting character in the Magic lore. Post Brothers War, he usurped the Conclave of Mages and imprisoned the former boss of the Conclave, Ith, in a cage made of water silver, whatever the hell that is, siphoning his magic and making him nuts. Now eventually Joda got Ith the heck out of there, but Ith went ballistic on everybody. He killed Mairsil, he went down into the maze of Ith, dude, and he's just slicing throats. But Mairsil, he was a cagey dude. He imbued his essence into a ring, and the ring caused lots of felonious chaos during the Ice Age, with its wearer Lim Duel. It even corrupted Liliana Vest in the guise of the Raven Man. And this is his lost tribe, the Pretenders. Mechanically, this card is super flavorful and is a combo machine that you can make relatively cheaply. Let's get right into that. But first, I want you to literally snap your finger like a pretzel stick, bashing it into the subscribe button. One of my subscribers did that this week, dude, and I'm getting medical bills. Release your primal rage, brother. But listen, don't actually do that, alright? I'm just kidding around. There he is, Mairsil the Pretender. 1 blue, black, and a red for a legendary creature, human wizard, it's a 4/4. When Mairsil the Pretender enters the battlefield, you may exile an artifact or creature card from your hand or graveyard and put a cage counter on it. Mairsil the Pretender has all activated abilities of all cards you own in exile with cage counters on them. You may activate each of those abilities only once each turn. Now despite having only 1 printing, this is about 35 cents at present. I love the drip he's rocking, dude. Check it out, he looks like a swashbuckler. No visible weapons, just the muscles on his mind. Yeah man, there's a whole page of rulings on this guy, but I'm not going to read all of them, just some salient ones. So the exiled cards remain exiled with cage counters on them when Mairsil leaves the battlefield. If Mairsil returns to the battlefield, he still sees all those exiled cards with cage counters on them. And if an activated ability of a card in exile with a cage counter on it references the card it's printed on by name, treat Mairsil's instance of that ability as though it referenced Mairsil by name instead. For instance, if Mairsil exiles Magus of the Mind, the cost to activate the ability includes sacrificing Mairsil, not sacrificing Magus of the Mind. Get that through your thick head. If multiple cards exiled with cage counters on them have the same ability, Mairsil will have multiple instances of that ability. Mostly we're looking at that for untappers. Each may be activated only once each turn. If you have a creature enter the battlefield as a copy of Mairsil, the first ability triggers. You won't be able to activate any abilities before the legend rule applies, but the triggered ability will still let you exile another card with a cage counter regardless of which Mairsil you keep. Now this old trickster has a number of combo lines we can use to win the game and interacts with some really sweet creatures in interesting ways. So take a look at this guy in his sweet face paint and shiny magical taekwondo stance over here, dude. It's the Aetherling. 4 blue for a creature shapeshifter, and it has 1 blue, exile Aetherling, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of next end step. That's pretty much all we're going to do with this thing. It's got a bunch of other abilities as well. So if we exile this guy with a cage counter on it, hereafter referred to as caging, if we cage a guy or if he's caged or whatever, we can blink him until end step for 1 blue mana instant speed. Wow, pretty cool, who cares? Well, I care and you should too, because you can also exile Navinriel's Disc. So that's 4 generic mana for an artifact. Navinriel's Disc enters the battlefield tapped. It has 1 untap, destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. If you have a little angry buddy named Anger in the graveyard, you can blow up all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments every turn. So what you do is you activate Mairsil using Navinriel's Disc's ability by paying 1 and tapping it. Holding priority, activate Mairsil using Aetherling's first ability by paying blue, exiling it, and returning it to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. Resolve Navinriel's Disc's ability, destroying all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Repeat. Everybody's gonna scoop and you win, dude. Now what about this dang tree, dude? When I first started playing Magic the Gathering, all I wanted to do was become one with the trees, and this deck lets me live that dream. You got Tree of Perdition, 3 and a black for a creature, it's a plant, it's a 0/13, has Defender. Has tap, exchange target opponent's life total with Tree of Perdition's toughness. There will be no absolution, you will become a tree. So we exile this with the old Pretender and knock some poor sap down to 4 life. Combine this with the old Hate Flayer. It's 5 red for a creature elemental 5/5 with Wither. Has 2 and a red and untap. Hate Flayer deals damage equal to its power to any target. It has no safe side, except its butt. The Hate Flayer is just an old wormy dude from Lorwyn. Well, you killed one player, big deal. You can be damn sure the rest of the table is going to gang up on you, right? But Mairsil can only activate these abilities once per turn, but if you have the requisite 9 mana, you can do this on your opponent's turns, or you can reset those abilities with Quicksilver Elemental. It's 3 blue for a creature elemental. It's a 3/4. Has 1 blue mana. Quicksilver Elemental gains all activated abilities of target creature until end of turn. You may spend blue mana as though it were mana of any color to pay the activation cost of Quicksilver Elemental's abilities. So pay a blue, target Mairsil. Or if it's caged in exile, Mairsil can target himself. And you can also have Spike Shot Elder sub in for Hate Flayer, dude. He's just a porcupine with some goblin sprinkled on there, some goblin dust. Mairsil also interacts nicely with a little card called Endling. It's 2 black for a creature, zombie shapeshifter, it's a 3/3. You can pay 1 black, give it Undying until the end of turn. That's all you care about this guy. You exile this with Mairsil and you can give him Undying at instant speed for 1 black mana. Sweet dude, who cares about that? Well, your mom seemed real interested last night. So what about the old Blood Vassal over here? It's 2 and a black for a creature thrall, it's a 2/2. Sacrifice Blood Vassal, add black. They're born to suffer and die, much like humans. Gith said that, dude. Gix. Gix loves hooking tubes up to chewy chunks of flesh, dudes. Back in the old days, we had thralls just littering the landscape. They were all over the place. You could just hook them up the tubes if you wanted to. So you exile this with Mairsil and your Endling, and you can pay a black, give it Undying, then sacrifice it to generate 2 black mana. And then that guy pops back in. Then if you have a caged Walking Ballista or a Triskelion, then you can remove the counter for some damage and rinse and repeat. You can also use the old Deathbringer Thoktar. It's 4 black and a red for a creature zombie beast. It's a 3/3. Whenever another creature dies, you may put a +1/+1 counter on the old Deathbringer. Remove a +1/+1 counter from it. It deals 1 damage to any target. Or if you want infinite mana, you can cage up a Crystalline Crawler. Remove a +1/+1 counter from this guy, add 1 mana of any color. So that's nice. Also works with Blood Pet. Listen, your wife's not going to be too happy if you name your next cat Blood Pet, but this can be subbed out for Blood Vassal. You also have an interesting Infinite Turns combo using a couple unique cards. Sage Vours is 1 and a blue for a creature, Human Wizard, it's a 1/1, has Heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets this guy, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Remove all +1/+1 counters from it. For each 5 counters removed this way, take an extra turn after this one. I mean, we can put however many counters we want on them if we cage them up with the old Anthroplasm. It's 2 and a blue for a creature shapeshifter, it's a 0/0. Anthroplasm enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. It has X and tap, remove all +1/+1 counters from Anthroplasm and put X +1/+1 counters on it. I never Metamorphosis I didn't like, dude. Oh snap, puns, dude. His mom probably taught him that. She's like, you're my sweet boy, look at you. Looks a little bit like the less popular Kardashian brother, Lurch Kardashian. Hey buddy, 5 mana and you got infinite turns with this little combo. So we get our combo pieces in hand or in the graveyard using discard outlets and graveyard tutors, buddy. You know, unmarked grave and tomb buried alive. You can just tutor to hand with different things. You got your diabolic, you got your demonic, you got your vampiric. This deck needs quite a bit of tutoring to get the old Aetherling or whatever you need to the graveyard. But what are some activated abilities we can use to get us the card velocity we need to get into our combo pieces? How about Asmodeus, dude? Asmodeus is just out there chilling in his spiky chair. It's 4 black for a legendary creature, Devil God. It's a 6/6. It has black, draw 7 cards. That's the activated ability that we care about. So that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. This guy's sitting in his spiky recliner. He's all horned up in the darkness, boy. Speaking of horned up, look at the horns on this lady. Vizara the Dreadful, 3 black for a legendary creature, Gorgon. It's a 5/5 with flying. Has tap, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated, dude. Don't even try. This has some really sweet alternate art. You can tap to destroy whatever the heck you want. Very similar card to Avatar of Woe. RK Post, one of my favorite all-time artists, And this crazy art is one of the things that made me love Magic. This guy, Auric Lore Mage, 2 black for a creature human warlock, it's a 3/3. Has tap, search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. Nothing can quell the Auric's thirst for the forbidden secrets of the past, dude. This guy's over there in Bohemian Grove talking to the old senators out there. This is a very under the radar card that functions as a repeatable graveyard tutor. Now, Pack Rat and Mirror Propagator, these can get another copy of Maisil's ETB to exile some more sweet stuff with cage counters on it. Speaking of which, having ways to reset this guy's enter the battlefield effect is key. Instants like Essence Flux, Planar Incision, and Teferi's Time Twist allow you to reset Mairsil and stick another poor soul up in the cage. And if you can cage up the old Drow-new Lich Lord over there and get all that sweet stuff back with none of the downside. This dang idiot can tap, target instant sorcery in your graveyard, gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. I really love the art on this thing, but if you want to play more in a graveyard and with a Reanimator theme, which is totally not a bad direction, Havengul Lich is a fantastic include. It's 3 blue and a black for a creature zombie wizard, it's 4/4. Has 1, you may cast target creature card in a graveyard this turn. When you cast it this turn, Havengul Lich gains all activated abilities of that card until end of turn. This is a fantastic card and my zombie deck puts in a ton of work. I like this guy. I'm going to link a Moxfield search in the description. I'm going to link my little deck in the description too. Probably needs a little work. This guy's been around for a really long time and has some really amazing decks that people have honed in on his ability and the ability to combo out. It's a fun, interesting hipster combo deck that lets you cage your own cards, dude. So listen, don't let anybody beat you down out there. Speak your truth, brothers. If somebody comes in and they start giving you a hassle, be like Joe Biden, dude. Run him out of town with a chain. That's what he did to Corn Pop. If you want to run for president too, you can do that if you want to. Get out there and start campaigning, dude. I'll vote for you. You want to prove the earth is shaped like a rugby ball? Get the science, brother. Go out there and get some science. Sneaky G from Better Commander signing off.